Hello, cricket fan, and welcome back to Into the Ashes, our England versus Australia podcast, brought to you as always by DAFA News. I'm Jamie Alter, and joining me once again are Liam and Dom. Gentlemen, are you both all right after that incident-fueled fifth day at Lord's?
I tell you what, if these two teams can cause a near riot in the long room at Lord's, then anything is possible in these next three games. It's like a strange corner of the English public that values themselves as being some of the most demure people around completely lost their minds. It was something else that final day.
Yeah. Liam, the newspapers in Australia, I've been scanning the headlines. Not too far away from what a lot of the British tabloids and newspapers are saying too, right?
Yeah, we love playing up the rivalry. Obviously, after the incident the other day and some of the reaction to it over in the UK, we've certainly been enjoying it back here, considering we're up 2-0 in the series. So, look, it's all part of the drama and the spectacle of the Ashes and sport in general.
Yeah. We all three of us discussed before the Ashes started that we were all certain that this is going to be an action-packed, riveting series. They were going to get a result every time. But Dom, when you look back at that first day of this Lord's Test match, those visuals of Johnny Bairstow picking up that intruder or spectator, whatever you want to call him, and throwing him over the boundary line like he's a cardboard box, that actually seems like it was about 5 years ago, given all that happened with Johnny Bairstow on day 5. Very briefly, what do you make of this mess?
I was going to say also, that seems like ages ago. Zach Crawley's cover drive off the first ball edge pass and feels like it was about 18 months ago. I think we knew coming into the series because of, it's been talked to death and it's been a positive and a negative for England at times, but the whole Bazball feel of the thing, we knew there was going to be action and there were going to be talking points. I mean, I don't think anybody guessed Johnny Bairstow would begin the test by carrying a protester off the pitch and end it by being sort of run out in a spirit of cricket flashpoint. Basically, it's a diplomatic incident now because the Prime Minister's had his say. So, it's hard to know what to make of it. And obviously, it's going to be interesting now from an England point of view at 2-0 down, how they harness this. I mean, it could be Headingley on Thursday, the Western Terrace is going to be a bear pit. If that atmosphere was going on at Lord's, Leeds is going to be a different beast entirely. So, but it depends, can England harness that? Can they be cool and use it as fuel like Ben Stokes did? Or you could also say this England team, the last thing they need is the top three getting over, maybe not Ben Duckett, but the top three getting over-motivated and playing silly shots, or do the bowlers come in and lose their lines and lengths? It's going to be so interesting that first morning at Headingley. I mean, pretty much every day of this series we've gone, it's a big first hour here. And that first hour at Headingley, regardless of where the toss goes, regardless of what the conditions are, it's just going to be captivating.
I was listening to Sir Geoffrey Boycott on Piers Morgan's show, and he ended up by saying, we're ready. Liam, from an Australian perspective, do you think they're going to let all this outside noise get to them, or you know what, we're 2-0 up, one more game to win, irrespective of what kind of hostile reception we get? We've heard of security being beefed up at Headingley. From an Australian perspective, how do you think they're going into this match? There's very few days, very small turnover, unlike the first match. Are they going to just shut the noise out and do what they've done? Because Pat Cummins and his team can argue that, you know what, you guys worry about Bazball, we're playing sort of traditional test cricket, and here we are 2-0 up.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's cricket. It's not a physical sport like rugby or rugby league or American football, where you can go out there and take out your frustrations in a physical way. And I think the Aussie guys, you look at Steve Smith and Dave Warner especially, what they've been through in their career, some of the abuse they've copped, they relish in it. I know Steve Smith loves that kind of stuff. For England, it looks like they're taking this personally and taking a very emotional approach now, some of them after the Johnny Bairstow incident. But it's water off a duck's back for Pat Cummins and Steve Smith and Dave Warner in my book. And look, the fact of the matter is they're 2-0 up in the series and they're playing probably smarter cricket than England are, and the Johnny Bairstow dismissal is just proof in the pudding of that, isn't it? That's a brain fart essentially from Johnny Bairstow. So they're playing smart cricket. England are playing entertaining cricket, but they're having a few lapses in concentration that's letting them down, and the Aussies aren't looking outside of their four walls.
That's exactly it, Dom. What Liam has just said, and there's something which I've been thinking about too. England are not down 2-0 because of any controversies. They're down because they probably made the most mistakes, right? Something Ben Stokes has admitted, but it just seems like there's too much being made of what's happening, about catches, about run-outs / stumpings. Can we address the fact that England are here because of some basic mistakes?
Yeah, England are 2-0 down because they've left runs out there in the first innings of both matches. When you lose by 2 wickets and 43 runs, respectively, you look at the positions they were in those innings. I know we've talked about the declaration, but there was a lot of guys got out when they were in on that first day at Edgbaston. 188 for one, I think it was, the second inning at the Lords, and it was flat and the sun was shining, and then they had a really bad hour. And the thing is, when you have a bad hour against Australia, you can then get the situation the next morning where Ben Stokes gets a beauty and he's out first over because the Aussie pace attack's that good. What I would say about if we're talking about England getting overly emotional, I think you've got to look at Stokes, and he's the guy that sets the tone. He didn't get overly emotional. I mean, he did take out some frustration on the cricket ball going into the mount stand sort of 9 times, but he's very good at compartmentalising this. The other English player, you might say, got emotional with Stuart Broad just because he thought it was really funny and sort of played the situation very well. So I don't think there's any danger of England sort of losing their heads in the way that some people maybe in the media have done. I think there's enough senior pros in the dressing room to say they channeled this right. But yeah, it's they've played some dumb cricket in the first innings of both games. I would take issue with the idea of the Bairstow run out being smart cricket. I just think it's snide cricket. I think the comparison we've made of being run out to the non-strikers end, and that's a controversial topic. That's a guy trying to gain an advantage to try and run a quicker run.
Yeah.
Bairstow's been a bit airheaded, but he's gaining no advantage whatsoever. Unless Ben Stokes' end of over chat is so good, it's an advantage to run down there. I think Bairstow's been a bit naive, but it's snide cricket, not smart cricket for me. But it's all part of the narrative, isn't it?
It is, and it just adds to the whole spectacle that the Ashes is. Liam, how do you think Australia will go now that Nathan Lyon's not gonna play a part? I feel personally, had he been fit to bowl, that the match would not have even gotten as close as it did at Lords on day 5.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there. If the Aussies had Nathan Lyon in that final innings, things might have been over a little bit quicker. It's obviously a massive hurdle for them to overcome now. We know what Nathan Lyon brings. 400 plus test wickets, was playing in his 100th consecutive test, which is a phenomenal effort. The injury is not ideal timing for him, and he'll be really disappointed. But we do have young Todd Murphy to come in. He's been really impressive. He's a young guy, performed reasonably well in India. He's been good in domestic cricket back here in Australia, and he's a very like-for-like replacement, and he's probably better than any of the spin options England have got as well. So I'm a big fan of Todd Murphy, and I'm really excited to see him get his opportunity. I don't think they'll lose too much outside of just the experience of Lyon, not so much an ability standpoint.
Yeah. No, you're right. He got Virat Kohli not once but 4 times in the BGT, so that's full props to him. Dom, do you think England can win this? Not just this test, but do you think they can win the next 2 to make the 5th one a live test, as they say?
It's a very, very tough ask, isn't it, from this point? But I would say that, I'm old enough to remember several times England have been 2-0 down after 2. And the feeling after those at that time is normally one of total despondency and dejection. And normally when England are 2-0 down after 2, they're about to go to Perth and get absolutely bombed. So this does feel different because this team have been in the games. They've set the tone in a lot of the games. That they're still, after the defeat on Sunday, you're still just enraptured by what Ben Stokes has done. There's still such a positive feeling around this team and what they're doing. So it's a huge ask now, but if they win at Headingley. And so the Nathan Lyon aspect is interesting because Headingley is probably not a bad place to go without a frontline spinner. I mean, even Shane Warne never took many wickets at Headingley. It's a place for seamers to do the damage if anyone's going to. But after Headingley, the two pitches in England probably where the spinners will most come into play in the third and fourth innings are Old Trafford and the Oval. So if England can win at Headingley and then get to a situation where Australia are really going to feel Nathan Lyon's absence, then maybe it's all to play for. But the other side of that coin is if England get to the two spinning wickets and they're 3-0 down and there's no Nathan Lyon, that would just feel like such a huge missed opportunity. So yeah, it's I'm backing England to win this week, but I mean, so to win 3 in a row is a big ask.
Yeah, it's tough. Ben Stokes did say that we've done it not once but twice, so let's see. Which then brings me to the final question very quickly. I guess we already know what Dom has said. Dom said England. Liam, your take? Winner?
Yeah, I think the Aussies are full of confidence, and so are England too. I think that's the real positive thing, and why they are speaking in positive terms about the 2 losses is because they have been in both of those games, and they put themselves in positions to win and just couldn't capitalise on it. I think the Aussies go in as favourites, and I'm positive that they can get the job done. I'm confident that they can get the job done. Steve Smith's found some form now as well, and Uzi Khawaja is batting really well. So I've got full faith in the Aussies to take an unassailable 3-0 lead, but it's going to be close again. And yeah, if England happen to win the third test, I back the Aussies to win one of the last 2 anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely advantage Australia, but it's Headingley. Stranger things have happened. Ben Stokes, who knows? All said and done, it's been a cracking series, a bit of needless controversy, but it is the Ashes after all. So let's see how close we are with our predictions. Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Dom. And thank you to everyone watching this show. This has been another fun episode of Into the Ashes, brought to you by Daffy News. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.